Hello again, everybody. Moving on here with the second video. I've decided to tackle the history of my comics chronologically. So this video is going to detail the scant few memories of the comic books that I read and that my parents bought for me, or that I may have picked off the rack myself. We'll detail some of those. I would like to say straight off that I have been blessed with something of a steel trap memory, which is kind of a blessing and a curse, but it's mostly a good thing. Seem to constantly amaze my friends over the years how much I can recall in vivid detail. I've had the same circle of friends for 35 years or something, and I'm constantly surprising them. And my family also, whenever discussion arises of memories and events of the past, someone will invariably say, "Oh well, has anyone asked Johnny yet about it?" Such is my reputation for my memory. Now, it is beginning to fail me a little bit now. Here in my 50s, I'm noticing that it's not quite as powerful as it used to be, but I still have a really great capacity for the memories. So, I will start off talking about my dad. He was a child in the 1930s and was part of that very first generation to fall under the spell of comic books. I've talked to my dad about it, and he informed me that my love of comics really began as a desire for him to instill in his son, or give to his son, a love of the books and the characters and the comic book world that he had when he was a youngster too. And boy, that paid off, Dad. It was a life-shaping legacy for me, as we all know, and I love you very much, Dad, for that, and for countless other things too, of course. The first comic book I really remember was Amazing Spider-Man number 32. Vivid memory of the cover, vivid memory of that classic last page with Spidey lying, down under the weight of that machinery. That's probably, that is certainly the earliest comic book memory that I have. There are a few other books that I can mention that I remember with absolute certainty. Fantastic Four 58. Doctor Doom cover, I know. Remember that. Spider-Man 67 with the great Mysterio hands. Classic book, classic stuff all the way around. Daredevil number 48. Vivid memory of that sucker. The great Stiltman cover where he appears to be throwing Daredevil down. And that orange background burned into my brain. Another one that's burned in there is Fantastic Four number 83, with that classic Maximus cover where he's kind of smashing down, and as the FF and the Inhumans kind of fly around him. Very vivid memory of that book. Those are really the only memories that I have from the 60s, other than to say that I was one of those little kids that grew up with watching the Batman TV show, you know, the Adam West show. Great memories of that. I met Adam West at a car show in Hershey, Pennsylvania in 1975, but that's a whole different story. And also I grew up watching those great Marvel cartoons in the mid-60s. Wicked vivid memory of Johnny Storm saying "Flame on" at the beginning of the Fantastic Four cartoon. Other than that, I don't have too many memories of the 60s. But now once we get into the 1970s, oh boy, I'm going to have to start breaking these down into sections, because the really vivid favorite memories of my collecting really all happened in the 70s. The 70s was an amazing time to be a comic collector, and particularly at a young and impressionable age, like I was. I was an elementary school kid, and my entire world revolved around comic books. My bicycle and comic books. And my dog. So when I continue on with this chronological journey into my collecting, we'll pick up around 1970 or so. And I'm sad to say that I don't have any surviving off-the-rack books from the 60s. But for some reason, starting in 1970, I've got a fair amount of my off-the-rack purchases. And again, I will do an off-the-rack purchase video in the future. I've got a few stacks of reading books, and most of my off-the-rack stuff from the 70s and even through the 80s are kind of residing in those reader stacks. The next video I will give you a tease on. It's going to be exclusively about my very favorite comic book of all time. Nick, I know you know what that is. And maybe some of the more astute subscribers or comment readers of your videos will know what that is too, because I've mentioned the book many times in the comments on your videos, of course, and you and I have spoken about it numerous times also. And I'll give you another tease. Here is my off-the-rack copy, the back cover. I bought this in October of 1972 in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. It's cover dated January of 73 and is without question my all-time favorite comic book. So that's what's going to be coming up in the next video. The chronology will follow soon after that. So oh, and I do want to say too that I sincerely appreciate all the good wishes and warm welcomes that I've received from everyone. I am overwhelmed by it, really. I don't know what to say. I'm happy to shoot out of the gate like this and seem to be kind of, you know, off with a bang kind of thing. So that's just great. I was hoping that's the way this would be, and thanks to all of you. Again, we're off to a roaring start. So hope you like this vid. Plenty of more stories to come, and we'll see you real soon. Happy collecting.